welcome to Plotline Hotline. I'm Cole.
I'm Christian.
And as you know, it is the month of May, which means it is Star Wars month, baby.
Yeah, lightsabers and shit.
And now we are going to the...
Sorry.
We are going into the ones that started it all, the original trilogy, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and The Return of the Jedi, 4, 5, and 6.
Yep.
And we will start, of course, with New Hope.
Yes. Do you want to give a synopsis?
New Hope starts in a galaxy far, far away. The Empire has been ruling over the galaxy with an iron fist, with a small rebellion fighting off every one of their advances as best they can. When they come across plans for their new big weapon, the Death Star, which the rebellion hopes can turn the tides in their war.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just the scrolling bit, anyway.
Yeah, that was pretty close.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Thoughts? Concerns?
Thoughts?
Queries? Questions? Disturbances?
In the Force?
Yes.
No. Great movie. Love it.
Done.
What else do I say about it? I mean, it was just so awesome. I think watching it again, it was nice to see things be practical. There was points, obviously, that got added later, and, they did some
We try not to think about those.
We don't talk about it, we don't think about it. But everything else that wasn't added later, it is nice to watch a movie where it all feels like real. I know I've said this before, but God, it was so awesome to watch. I'm like, yeah, it looks, they did the best they could for the time, too.
I actually noticed this so as well, because the special effects in these movies, not counting of the additions later, were used very effectively.
Yeah.
They were good for their time, of course.
100%.
But obviously they don't quite stand up in some areas now. But they're used effectively for the point of the story, and it wasn't tasteless.
Exactly.
They knew when to use it, what to use, and not to overdo it.
They didn't just use it because it's the cool new fad to be doing in everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was really awesome. The story was fun, especially watching it again. I mean, watch it every year as it is, but watching it again, just awesome. I don't know if I have a lot of gripes with this one. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't know.
I've got small amounts of gripes.
Okay.
They're not very many, and they don't bother me most of the time in this show. But some of the lines and acting are a little cheesy at times. Just a little bit. Just enough that you go, oh, that one was a little weird.
It's awkwardly placed. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then what else? That's my main gripe. Honestly, just every now and then. I do think the first lightsaber battle is a little bit of a letdown. It's not terrible. And honestly, if this movie, if I was in charge of this movie to do today, I would not change anything except for that fight. Okay. I would not change the results. I would not change the length. I would just make it a little bit more entertaining to watch, more like the lightsaber fights you see in the next two movies.
True.
A little bit more going on.
Back, right? Yeah.
Because at one point they're just...
Yes.
And I get it, Alcinous was elderly at the time, and they hadn't quite figured out how to do all the stuff in the suit as effectively. But those are just a couple of things, really.
Interesting.
I still love this movie.
I do too.
No one can hit a damn thing with a blaster. Not just the stormtroopers. We know the jokes. They can't hit the side of a barn.
Nobody can.
Fucking Luke and Han can't either.
No.
Most of the time they miss, except when they're trying to hit the handles or the controls of a fucking door.
Those door handles have no chance, but stormtroopers, you're good to go.
No, they make 1 out of every 6 shots. I was watching it and I was like, they're just as bad.
But even in the first one, when you first meet Han, it shows that he's a good shot because, BAM! And then Greedo was dead. But
to be fair, that's only from me to you away.
I know, but it still proves that, trying to show he's the outlaw, he's the quick draw.
Didn't you know he didn't shoot first?
Whoa. Whoa.
It looks so bad, too.
It does.
But it is a very strong start to the original trilogy.
Yes, but you're right.
It's safe. It gives you some nice, cool stuff. Gets the door open for the Force, the Rebellion, the Empire, all of it.
Yeah, it really sets it. It is a little bit less action-packed. There's a lot of like conversations happening, but when it does get action-packed, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think even compared to the other movies.
Mm-hmm. And the dynamics with the characters are fun.
Yeah, I think it does a great job setting up an actual trilogy, not just shoving as much as you can into the first movie.
Oh, and Luke gets over his aunt and uncle's death very quickly. He mourns more over Ben Kenobi's death, who he is only known for maybe a day.
Yeah.
Over the people that raised him. All he does is look sad at the ground for a little bit, then he goes back to Ben and is like, I'm coming with you.
Ben, I'm coming with you! Teach me about the Force!
Yeah, but then we never hear again about Aunt Peru or Uncle Owen. Never.
They never get mentioned.
Not in this trilogy. They probably get mentioned in other Star Wars stuff. I know they get mentioned in Ben Kenobi's show. We don't talk about it. But in this trilogy, they are not mentioned again.
No, never. I never even thought about that, but yeah, he doesn't really grieve. It doesn't specify how much time passes either before he goes and sees Ben, so I would assume he's just like, well, my fucking family's all dead and my farm's gone.
I don't think it was that long. He probably saw them dead, did his little pout thing, then looked at the flames or the smoke of his house.
The sunset.
And then went back, found Ben with the droids, and he's like, there's nothing left for me here. Which, to be fair, is true.
I mean, it is true.
Yeah.
It is true. Yeah. Anything else about the first one?
Nope, that's my main points for the first
points.
One. Empire Strikes Back.
5. I was going to go 2, but it's not. No. 5.
Technically 2, but 5.
5. Episode 5. Empire Strikes Back. I don't know if I want to give a synopsis about this one.
Why not? I did the last one.
Oh, this is going to be rough. I don't want to embarrass myself that badly.
I want you to.
Oof.
Hurry up, we're on the clock here.
Okay. The rebellion, after the Death Star got destroyed, and also their planet, well, Empire knew where they were, so they came to that planet. They had to go to an ice planet and try to hide from them. The Empire sent probes, they found them. Luke gets kidnapped by a Yeti and uses the Force, and then they do cool things with the AT-ATs, and yeah, that moves on. They go on an adventure, they go to Cloud City, we meet Lando Calrissian, and then, surprise! Darth Vader is there with fucking Boba Fett. Yeah, and he's like, yeah, I need to get Luke to take him to Palpatine because they're gonna rule together. And then they use Han to try their fancy freezing method. And then he's like, we're gonna use this on Luke, and they have a cool battle. And then he's like, spoilers, I'm your father! And yeah, that's essentially it. And he loses his hand. And then they find out that Luke and Leia can... Oh, and Dagobah! Dagobah, you can't forget about Dagobah. That was the whole thing. He went to Dagobah after Hoth, and he learned from a small gremlin. I'm just kidding. He met Yoda, and who is absolutely...
Never call him a gremlin again.
Sorry. I just have to say, Yoda is wild in this movie. That's enough of a synopsis for you. Yoda is fucking... He be smoking the good stuff, I'm telling you.
Dagobah has the good kush.
It has to. I had a good chuckle when you first meet Yoda. I'm just like...
When he's digging through the shit and throwing out everything?
Hey, you could break that! And he just keeps... So good.
You know when he starts beating up R2?
Mine! Yeah. And I know that it was a puppet, but it was amusing. It was good to watch. I know everyone in ever will say this, but I think it still stands true. I think The Empire Strikes Back is my favorite out of these three. It is just awesome from start to finish. It has a great story at the beginning, and then you just kind of follow Luke and the other people, and you get to see each experience, and then they all kind of come back together, and it's well told, it's fun. you get to explore all the characters, and especially Vader, where like you get to see him a little bit in the first one, like here and there, and you know, but you really get to experience Vader in this one. And
this is the one that really pushed Vader into more of into everyone's like the main point of the eye.
Exactly.
I fuck that footage.
I also enjoyed you never met Lando in the first one, so it was cool to see Han and a little bit more of his backstory and like the not trust that they have. But you know, Lando doesn't really care for the Empire as it is, so that was fun. It was just so good. Great movie. Go. Ideas, thoughts.
I have lots of thoughts.
Oh,
not all of them coherent. But I will say this. R2 and C-3PO become much more comedic relief in this movie compared to their usage in the first. They don't have very strong plot points in this one.
They do not.
So, like, R2 does a little bit of stuff at the end, really. C-3PO does shit all.
Translates?
Yeah, he gets plugged into the Millennium Falcon to get so Han knows what's wrong with it. But aside from that, they don't do much in this movie.
No, I think they served their purpose in the first one.
Yeah, they're very prevalent in the first one and even in the third one after. Correct. But this one, they kind of simmer in the background a bit.
Which is fine.
I always find when the Yeti, as you call it, shows up at the beginning, so weirdly placed.
It is.
There's no hint that there's something sneaking up on them. There's
no... It's not Yeti, I'm sorry.
I actually don't know what it's called either. I can't remember.
Everyone's going to be so disappointed in us, but...
I never remember the creature's name.
I didn't either.
But when he shows up, he's just, surprise, motherfucker!
Out of nowhere.
I'm like, sure, the Tauntaun starts going a little nuts. But that's the only thing that goes on. You could just say it's getting too cold to stay out there, which they mentioned that the Tauntauns are going to start freezing if they stay out there.
Yeah, they can handle it, but not for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just, he's here!
Yeah. He kind of just, surprise!
I find Leia and Han's animosity at the beginning of the movie almost off-putting to a point you don't expect one side of them to even try and get together about their feelings or anything like that. Because it's very snarky, very angry for like the first little bit, and it's still like supposed to like connect them later and stuff.
That's true.
The hate to love thing.
I mean, even at the end of the first one, that's kind of how their relationship was.
Not quite that much.
No, but it was
there. It was certainly
to that
direction. Yeah. It was certainly there, but that always at the beginning of that movie, how like quickly just start spatting at each other, and I'm like, wow, it's almost like the married couple spat without being married.
True.
Like right before the divorce.
Trying to still hold it together, but can't.
We gotta hold it together for the kids. Points at R2 and C3 and Chewie.
Shh, the kids are right there.
Then I think they do a lot. It is a fun movie, great movie that I think they improved a lot from the first one as well. Darth Vader gets more screen time. Vader and Luke's fight is really cool and fun. A little slow at first, but then when they start picking up speed a little bit more, it's really cool.
Yes. Especially
when Vader starts using the Force and just starts flinging things at him.
Yeah, and it's like...
that's the only time we see something like that,
too.
I don't know why that was not used again.
They just didn't want to, I guess.
You could have. Also, when the Millennium Falcon is flying away from all the Empire stuff, for a long point of this movie, why didn't they use a tractor beam? That's how they caught them the first time in New Hope.
I don't know.
Tell me, Christian, why?
They
wanted to capture them so badly, they don't use the tractor beam. It's apparently really useful. You never see it again.
I want to say they explained that, but I don't think they did. I was going to say maybe they deactivated it, but
all their big ships should have it.
That's true.
You'd think. Be like, we got to capture this ship. Let's just use the tractor beam.
I don't know. Maybe they just, after the first time it failed, they're just like, nah.
It didn't fail. It worked. It got the Millennium Falcon into the ship.
But then they deactivated it, and they were like, maybe this is too easy to deactivate. We need to find a better way to do this.
Because it took like 20 minutes to get there to deactivate it.
But Ben had to go and hide behind this sketchy ass pole and look down and
which makes it dangerous.
Yeah, I guess.
Only a Jedi could do it. Not really.
No, I feel that was a pretty good platform.
But,
Okay, you're right. Why didn't they use tractor beams? I don't know. Because it's an adventure. The good guys have to win a little bit.
They do! Lots of the time! But they do end it on a nice note where they're like, yeah, I want to see more. I want to know what happens to Han and the group and stuff. Obviously, when you first watch it, even before you knew what Star Wars is, the reveal with Vader and Luke. As a kid, that was such a table turner.
Yeah.
Throws you through a loop. He's like, what?
You're like, wait a minute. Yeah, that's true. I think because it's so widely known now, it's also as jarring.
Yeah, but it's also the birthplace of a lot of these cliches.
So true.
I am your father bit, I love you. I know.
Yeah.
Great moments for this movie.
It is.
But they have become cliches because they were so good.
So true. Mm-hmm. But I never thought about the tractor beam. The rest of the movie was, I thought, really good.
Oh,
it was
really
well
good.
done. It was well thought out. It was explained.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cloud
City was fun.
Cloud City's great. Yoda's new inclusion brings a lot of light to both the Jedi upbringing as well as a little bit more about Ben.
Yeah.
And all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Tractor beam's bothering you a little bit, isn't it?
It is. I'm really thinking about it. But we should move on to the last one.
Do you want me to do it this time?
You probably should.
Okay. Return of the Jedi. It takes place a few years after Empire Strikes Back. They have been on the search for where Han has been taken in his carbonite form. And after they locate him at Jabba's palace, our lovely gang decides to go in and finally save him after years of being just held as an ornament. And then they go off, they find Han, save him, kill off Jabba. But then Luke goes back to Dagobah to try and finish his training. Doesn't get to because Yoda... But also Yoda said he's grown enough that he doesn't need any more of the practical training. Then he gets confirmed that Vader is his father from both Yoda and Obi-Wan. And then they rejoin the rebellion to make their final stand against the rebuilt Death Star for the second time. And have to get rid of the shield around it at the moon of Endor.
Yep.
Alright, and then the final battle consumes.
And then they win!
Yeah!
Yay!
With big explosions. Yeah.
You can start.
Okay. This one's actually my favorite.
Really? Nice.
Yeah.
You know, it's a toss-up between the two.
admit there is a lull in there. It's mainly after Luke leaves Dagobah.
Yes.
No, sorry, not quite there.
Not that?
I think it actually happens after the speeder chase. The speeder chase until Leia and Luke have their conversation about their mother. There's a lull that it's the Ewoks mainly.
Yeah.
Because they don't... And also the Ewoks are, they're a very polarizing part of this movie.
As we know.
Yeah, but they also, for many reasons, because they make the Empire seem even less of a threat now. Because, A, they're very primitive. B, they're tiny. C, even with, sheer numbers aside, they're doing great damage to the stormtroopers.
Who take laser blasters on a regular basis.
I'm like, what? There is no point to their armor. Honestly.
No, there isn't.
As cute and some of the moments are funny with the Ewoks, it does hurt a little bit of the story there. And then, also, when Luke first gets his green lightsaber, that's awesome.
Yes, his green lightsaber is dope.
I remember as a kid, I was like, it's freaking green!
Yeah!
It's green!
And it's awesome. It's
I will
great.
say, though, even though we do see...
And he's got a great outfit. Can I just say his costume in that movie?
Black leotard with black boots.
It was perfect. It was great.
The cloak, too. He got rid of the cloak, too, soon.
Oh.
But,
so good.
Luke's uses a little bit more of the Force, he does the mind trick on Jabba's guards and stuff, does some Force choking at that point as well. Why doesn't he use more of the Force later? Because, sure, in the Rancor pit, instead of wildly tossing the rock, why didn't he just either use the Force to hit the button or use the Force to throw the rock at it? We know he could do that.
That's true, we do.
Why did he risk it's not like he's hiding a secret. They know he can do Jedi shit.
Yeah, he's clearly a Jedi. They have a conversation about it.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand. That has always bothered me. It doesn't make sense.
Because the heroes in... I don't know. I'm trying to defend it, but honestly, it doesn't make sense.
That has always bothered me. It's not a big point because the end result is the same.
It still would have ended up being the same. Whether it was a big rock or
still would have died.
or
same way.
Door,
also,
right?
I feel bad for that guard.
I know.
He's like, that's my buddy.
Just gone.
And I also like this Forever. Is just a connection to the Clone Wars or to even the prequels. I find it cool how the overall owner of Anakin as a slave, the ones that kill that said owner are Anakin's children.
Oh, yeah.
I actually love that.
That's actually interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
I like that.
That's cool. I don't think I put that together before, but now...
Someone pointed it out to me like a long time ago, I think. And like sometimes I forget about it. But
yeah! Wow. I did not... That's fun. Mm-hmm. I like that. That's a good circle.
Mm-hmm. Then obviously the confrontation between Vader, the Emperor, and Luke at the end is... spectacular.
So good.
I wish there was a little bit more of the fight because their choreography for that one was so fun and energetic.
It was good. Mm-hmm. Really good.
Luke turns off his fucking lightsaber. So I get the point, but he turns... Like, I would have been fine if he just, like, lowered it in a couple times instead of turning it off fully.
Just straight up turning it off?
Like, fuck. Like, it's one thing to be like, I will not strike you down in anger. Defend yourself, bro.
Right. You don't have to take him down.
Don't toss your lightsaber away. I know he's an old man, but he's still the Emperor. There's something going on there.
Yeah. I mean,
he's a feeble old guy, but why the fuck is he still in power if he doesn't have the power?
Everybody's scared of him, so there's no real reason why everybody is scared of him.
And also, it is really climactic with the music and everything. When Vader picks him up.
I love that.
And just hucks him down.
Yeah.
It's kind of anticlimactic in terms of the Emperor.
It is.
But it's climactic in Vader's turnaround.
You get that arc of,
You don't see the arc in the first two movies.
No.
But then you start seeing it unfold more in this one. And it's great.
And it's a great conclusion for that character. It's just, especially when he gets that moment where the helmet comes off.
Yeah.
It's just like that. It's just, so good.
Also, Han and Leia finally getting to a less animosital space.
Yeah, really nice. And actually, like, being one with each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great movie. I will say, I think I agree about the Ewoks. It's just like, it doesn't make sense for a giant superpower of space.
It's one thing to get the help that they need from the Ewoks. That would have been fine. I think they spend a little too much time with them. But also, they are too effective.
I just don't understand how a military... Like, I know that they are supposed... Because they can't hit anything. They're not really the brightest. They're just clones. Which is definitely disproven in other content. But...
Stormtroopers aren't clones. They decommissioned clones. Stormtroopers
right. They're just regular people. Well, I'm just an idiot, so it's fine. But, either way...
Too effective.
Too effective. For people that are wearing armor that could take laser blasters, at least one, I would suppose, or, maybe not kill you right away, even though it seems like one blast would kill you, so I don't know why they're wearing the armor anyway. But, yeah, rocks against armor doesn't seem very effective.
Not even big rocks, they're like softballs.
No, they're not even like, I mean, it would hurt, but you're wearing armor, so even then
you should be fine.
Yeah. And their spears probably wouldn't go through that.
I imagine that, like, the joints and stuff where you see them, like, sure, but...
Yeah. But it is a great movie. You get to explore a lot more of the universe as well. Like, with Jabba and his whole thing and trying to... The Snarlack pit and everything. Like, that thing is just... It's... Great scene. It's just fun. Good world building. And a great end to the movie as well. Even though they probably all just get really high and drink stupid
they're
amounts.
partying hard.
Yeah, in the middle of the
forest. Just got through, what, like, overall, like, 20, 30 years of Empire rule?
True.
They're free now.
Yeah. They got litty.
Oh, they got lit. Those Ewoks had good stuff going on. Guaranteed. They had a treehouse. They knew what they were doing.
No. Other than that, I think it was well paced. I'm trying to think if I had anything really stand out. but I really didn't. It was just fantastic.
I don't know how the Millennium Falcon fits into the Death Star shaft when you see TIE fighters and X-Wings be so tight against all the stuff. During in there, I'm like, the Millennium Falcon is 3 times the size of most of those.
It is.
You do see at one point it hits one of the things, but it still doesn't make sense how it's still able to maneuver as well as it does.
Just Han's that good of a pilot.
Han wasn't flying that in
That's
Return of the
true.
Jedi. It was Lando.
You're right. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying Lando's a terrible pilot or anything. It's just the size thing.
That's true. I mean, it was Lando's first, right? So
it doesn't matter. It's the size of the shaft.
He knows.
The size matters. Okay?
Okay, well, do you have anything else about that? I honestly don't. I tried to pick gripes, but I
don't have many gripes. These are just the small nitpicks that I have because it's enjoyable. It's fun. They're classics for a reason.
It's just well done. Mm-hmm. And I have to say practical, I have learned now. The practical effects for me is it's a big plus. Mm-hmm. It makes me feel like you care about the world and you put love into it. Mm-hmm. And not that CGI can work in certain areas. And, there's some things you can't recreate. But using it tastefully and when you can't actually be in that location or be in front of Cloud City behind you, right? Mm-hmm. I understand that, but using all the droids, all the everything, it was either people in costumes or it was actually something sitting there moving. Just fantastic. Great. So, ratings.
New Hope?
New Hope. Do you want me to go? You want to go?
You go first.
8.
Yeah, I'd say an 8 as well for New Hope.
Going with an 8. It's
strong start, fun stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
Empire
Strikes Back.
8.
I would.
You want to go 8.5, 9?
I'm gonna go 8.5, just because it's my favorite. I really like that one. It's got some of my favorite Star Wars shit in it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, 8.5, just to be
very fair.
That guy. And then Return of the Jedi.
8.
I'm going to go 8 as well on that one. I think it's just a solid, yeah.
All of them are solid. They're fun movies.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I think some of the additions that got added later just were unnecessary.
I don't know why. It doesn't add to the story. Or it doesn't necessarily take away from the story either, except for Han's bit. Takes away from his character.
It does.
But it makes no sense.
It doesn't.
Why add all these things that are just jarringly different than everything else that's in there?
Why can't it be empty?
Or the music scene in Return of the Jedi that they added.
No, I wasn't even going to bring that up. First of all, it's not necessary, and second of all, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's not even that it's good and unnecessary. It's unnecessary and bad. Yeah. But, again, we don't have to do that. I'm sure we could...
Boba Fett is useless. I will say that. I know there's Boba Fett fans out there, but I don't understand. He looks cool.
He does.
And he does actually have a point in Empire where he follows Han and the Millennium Falcon to Cloud City.
Yep. And then he takes him from there to
yes. But he is a little bitch in these movies. I don't know why.
He's a bounty hunter.
We saw plenty of bounty hunters when Vader's talking to them all.
Yes.
I know there are people that are going to dislike what I have to say about this.
I can feel it already. I don't know if I want to agree.
He is dealt with within the first 5 minutes of an action scene in Return of the Jedi. Why? Because he's a bitch. His rocket pack gets hit from behind. He's not even paying attention. He gets flown into the side of a floating ship, then he falls into the Sarlacc pit. His one line going, "Ah!" He looks cool. But he doesn't do anything that strikes me as a badass character.
You're right.
He does talk back to Vader, but I never chalk that up as him being badass. I chalk that up to being him greedy and wanting more money, and also providing enough service to the Empire at this point that he knows he can be like, hey, where's my money? If you want me to keep hunting these people down, you gotta pay me.
True.
Fuel's expensive in the galaxy.
I would have, yeah, especially with the Empire.
My ship needs maintenance if you want me to keep capturing these people.
True. I won't lie, I think I agree. Only in the... Because, like, I'm fighting him because I'm like, yeah, but he's so cool.
He looks cool!
He looks cool, but he does get dealt with right away. And even when they do capture him in Cloud City, he doesn't really do much except press... I think he presses the button, doesn't he, to freeze Han?
I don't
remember.
Frieza, he just leads them to his ship and tells them to put Captain Solo in the cargo hold.
Yeah, and then he flies off in his ship.
His ship doesn't make sense. Because he walks into there, but then he would have to get onto the ship, into his thing, like this. So then, when it turns up and flies, he's level.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
But it's cool.
That's not the point. I can go on about this forever. We're going to cut it here.
But, okay, I will say, as a child, I think that was one of my favorite ships. I really liked his ship. But I don't disagree with you because, yeah, he does. Anyway.
That's always bothered me.
I never really thought about that.
I wasn't going to go into the Boba Fett stuff, but we're here now.
We're here. But that is going to take us to the end of this episode because we could just dive down this rabbit hole. So thank you for watching Plotline Hotline. This has been our review of the original series of Star Wars. Episodes 4, 5, and 6.
If you agree with us, let us know. If you don't agree with us, also let us know. I'm sorry. I am.
You can yell at him. We have social media right here.
Comments.
Comment section.
You can let me know how angry you are, and I will understand.
Yes. We won't put out his address. Just we don't need any of that. We don't need any of the
But thank you for sticking around.
Yes, thank you. Continuing Star Wars week, so hopefully month. We've been enjoying doing it. Star Wars is just awesome. So good. But that's it. My name's Christian. That is Cole. And this has been Plotline Hotline. And we will catch you next time with whatever review we got next.
Bye.
Bye. Ha ha!